You hungry? Well, I'm hungry. You like baseball? Well, I love that shit. Want a slice of pizza? Go to New York. You want hot weather? Come to LA. You want to break bread? Call Nick Turturro. Ready, motherfucker? Are you ready? Well, I'm fucking ready. Get ready!
The first time I met Nick and your wife was at my video shoot, and I remember your wife's like, "Oh, you Filipino?" I'm like, "Nah, sorry, I'm not Filipino. That's Apple." She's like, "Oh, I'm Filipino," and it was cool because we had a kindred connection as family, and she told me that her son was playing me in the video, and it was cool because he had a great spirit. Good-looking kid, great spirit. You know, his energy was infectious, and that's kind of how I was too. I'm better looking though, but just kidding, Nick.
Yeah. No, I like your look.
Yeah, thank you.
I like
man.
your look.
And you know, it just started a relationship, and every time I saw him on set, it was like we had known each other for years. Like same thing with your wife. And then when I met you, I was like, man, I love this guy. I respect his talent, and I know what he's done in the industry, and I follow your movements. I've seen this movie millions of times, and I already knew that. But what is he like as a person? Let's strip away the New York thing. Let's strip away the actor thing.
Right.
Who is this guy?
Right.
And then when I got to like build with you, it was me and my son and you and your son, and we were building as human beings, not as actor and artists and entertainment, but as human beings, fathers building. And I was like, man, I really like this guy, his personality. And when you get to break down the you know, the facade of Hollywood and entertainment and actor and rapper and musician, and you get to know people on a human level, you find substance and value, and that's the thing that I take away, and I like to build friendships. So I'm glad and I'm honored to call you my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The feeling's mutual.
Yep.
Because I, you know, you struck me as a guy that, and I didn't know really squat about the Black Eyed Peas, to be honest. I knew a couple of the hits. I knew of you guys, but you don't know people till you know them. And then when you meet somebody on a personal level, and then you could actually have a conversation, you get a whole new appreciation for that guy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like you say, okay, you know, I didn't know that much about you, but you're much more than what I thought, or, you know, I mean, not that I had any, you know, any ideas of what you were, but it's just I could tell you were a guy that was a deep thinker, a guy that wasn't a one-trick pony. You know, you were interested in what other people have to say, and that's to me is, you know, that's attractive. That you don't always get with people. Sometimes you meet people and you're like, hey, you know, but you really can't have a conversation. Right. You know, the attention span is really short. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's like when you can talk to someone like that, it's actually like it's refreshing because you could have a conversation. You know, a lot of people will ask you, how's this guy? How's that guy? And I'll go, yeah, he's a nice guy. But how much do I really know of him? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, could I really, like, you know, a lot of times people go like, yeah, how you doing? And you're like, do you really want to know? Do you really want to know? You know, and it's like, how am I doing? I'm okay. But, you know, it's good, buddy. It's good. But like some of these guys, they don't have the time. Guys, when they really make it that big, I mean, you know, like you could have a conversation, but on a certain level. You know what I mean? You can't really like have a real conversation where you get to know each other as people.
Well, one of the things that struck me as a value in that first meeting, a valuable component to me really understanding your personality is we looked at each other as men, fathers, but the eye contact of like, yo, I'm in this conversation. I'm not weeding around over here trying to see who's walking through the door, because you get that a lot in Hollywood.
Yeah.
People are so like, you know, you have a conversation and then all of a sudden you're like over here and then you lose that person.
Right.
You know, and it's like, yo, if I'm talking to you, give me your fucking attention.
Right.
If you're talking to me, I'm going to give you my attention. You know what I'm saying? Because the one thing that I value is being able to be, like, keep it 100 with a person.
Right.
And really show them that I respect your time. You don't have to be talking to me, but you're taking your time to really get to know me, so I'm going to give you my undivided attention.
Right.
So that was like a thing that I really appreciated.
Yeah, then we sat in the car, right? We sat in the car the second time we met on a hot summer day, and he was sick. He had just had his tonsils
right.
out.
Yeah.
He had his tonsils out, and then we were sitting in your in the Tesla.
Yeah.
Tesla.
And like the Batmobile,
Yeah.
and then I was sitting there, me and you and
My
your
son,
son.
Josh, yeah.
So both our sons, and we're just, just hanging out. It was just kind of like, it was kind of cool. I was like, wow, this guy's it's like a, very down to earth, very natural kind of feeling. And then I met Will, and he was like, oh, that's your dad. He didn't know, whatever, that I was, an actor or whatever. I was glad that like he met you guys before. Like I even came into the picture, because it's like, you got to have your own identity.
Mm-hmm.
I know from just even being like my brother, my brother's like a big time actor, and then I got into it, and then, he inspired me, he helped me, but I wanted to have my own identity too, and I have, and I mean, he's always been my inspiration. I always looked up to him since I'm a little kid, even before he was anybody. But the bottom line is he's who he is, and I'm me. So we're two different people. We're nothing really alike, but you could tell there's a connection, but we're very different people. He's a much more cerebral guy, really interesting guy, and smart as hell. Like he reads so much. It's like I said to him one time, I'm like, how do you know so much? How do you know? And he's like, I read.
Mm-hmm.
I read. Are you a reader? I mean, do you read a lot?
I'm not a reader,
Right.
but I do read to my kids. So the point of what he was trying to say is that his wife is the superstar of the family. And
Somehow
I would always say
I get lost. So don't mind it if I like go off on it. And my ADD, is like I'm interested. I want to talk to you about a lot of things, but it's like you never know where you're gonna start or whatever inspires you. We're talking about father, brothers, talking about our sons, and then all of a sudden I'm looking at my brother. He's just a deep thinker, man. He's when you listen to the guy, you're like, oh shit, he just knows so much. That you get something. Those are the kind of people I want to be around. You don't get that kind of stimulation in this town. It's not that kind of place. Not that there's not smart people here. There is, but you know what I mean. It's like even as an artist, don't you crave that? Don't you want to be around people that you go? Like who's inspired you?
I would say my
like-
grandmother was the biggest inspiration in my life. She was the person that told me, believe you can achieve, dream big. If you want to be a dancer, if you want to be a performer, go after your dreams. My mom was more like, very traditional. Hey, you have to go to school, and I got that. I understand respect to my mom, but my grandmother was the matriarch of my family. In my family, my tribe, we were raised by women. So my grandmother being the matriarch, my wife now being the matriarch, and my daughter is the all-around matriarch of our family. She runs the show. She's 3 years old, by the way.
Right.
And she sets the tone for all of us. There's 4 boys, me, Josh, Jalen, and Journey, and then there's my wife, and Jet is my daughter. So
How long are you married?
I've been married since 2008, but I've known my wife since 1999. She's
Okay.
Filipino.
All right.
Filipino.
Filipino.
Bebo.
He's gonna teach me how to dance today. I got some moves, but I can't break dance like this guy. So your grandmother,
my grandmother, beyond any musician or artist, because when you have somebody that is personally inspiring you from a personal connection, that's like more powerful than just a person on television.
And I bet you she wasn't the type of person that she made you believe it, but without being like over the top.
Well, this is what she would
do.
do. I'm gonna explain to you. She would sit in her chair in the living room and she would say, from Los Angeles, California, give it up for Jimmy Gomez. And I would be up in her living room dancing, popping, locking, doing whatever I could to show her that I loved the art form of dance.
Who was Jimmy Gomez? You?
That's me.
Right.
Yeah, 5 years old. Little Jimmy.
So she'd say, give it up for Jimmy Gomez.
She would present me in her living room if I was on a big stage. So that motivation that she presented to me, and she gave me that inspiration, that spark, let me know if I could do this in front of my grandmother, maybe I can do this in front of thousands of people. Oh, maybe I can do this in front of millions of people. And that was the confidence that she brought and the spark and the fire to be able to be a performer. Without even saying, like, you're going to be a performer. She just said, from Los Angeles, California, give it up for Jimmy Gomez. And that was my spotlight.
Yeah.
That was the spark.
Yeah.
And she did that time and time again. Every time I would come to her house for 3 months every summer, it was part of our thing. It was our connection. It was like, yo, Jimmy, now you're going to perform to Slick Rick. You can perform to African Bambaataa. You're going to perform to Los Tigres del Norte, Juan Gabriel, Celia Cruz. It didn't matter. as long as you just perform and get your expression out there, express yourself, and have a good time.
So you were dancing at a young age, right?
yeah,
That was
since
your main.
5,
That was
yeah.
your big thing.
Yeah.
When did the music come about?
The music, I would say professionally, not until I met will.i.am and Apple. We met at a club called Ballistics when we were 17 years old.
You guys met?
Yeah, we were teenagers. will.i.am was actually Will.i.am. He was freestyling, kind of like Eminem back in 8 Mile.
Right.
He was battling other MCs. He was winning a competition that David Faustino, Bud Bundy from Married with Children would throw on. It was a club, Ballistics. And I met Apple in the circle, battling other...
He was rapping too?
No, he was dancing.
Oh, he
We
was
were all
dancing.
Yeah,
You were
kinda-
all dancing.
Yeah, so...
Who was the best dancer?
Me.
You?
All
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
take him out.
Yeah. You're
To
amazing.
this
huh?
day, I mean, my whole, if you look on my page at Taboo, you'll see that I embody the art form of dance, and I really want to use my platform to give other dancers, male, female, choreo, b-boys, b-girls, a platform to have a voice to pop culture and to the masses to let them know how important they are to our culture.
So you had dance battles?
Dance battles, crews.
Did you win?
Always, dude.
You won all the time.
Always. That's one thing I'm very confident in as a performer and as
Right.
a dancer.
Now, what about the rapping? Did that come second?
The rapping always came second for me.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
and then once I became a Black IP in 1995, it started becoming part of my other sword. So as you sharpen your swords and you get better and better and you practice over 10,000 hours like I did with dancing, I started getting better as an MC. And so MCing and dancing went hand in hand to the point where, you know, I started to able to hold my own in a freestyle battle or when I was performing on stage and we would do an improvisation or a freestyle, I was able to hold my own.
So whose idea was to put the Black Eyed Peas together? Was it
Will.
Was it Will?
Yeah.
He said you guys became friends first. What?
Yeah, we became friends. Apple came from the Philippines. Filipino. Apple came from the
I
Philippines.
like
and
his
that-
voice, by the way.
Yeah, he's dope, man.
Yeah, like
He's dope.
he has that certain that little Filipino accent
Yeah,
mixed
he's
in
really
with
dope.
it's like
So he came from the Philippines in 1989, got adopted by this man named Joe Ben Hudgens, rest in peace. He was a kid on TV that you could say 25 cents you adopt this kid from the Philippines.
Right.
Apple was that kid.
he's that kid.
He's that kid. So
What
he
a
comes to
story.
America, gets an opportunity to live a better life, meets will.i.am. They become a dance crew called Tribal Nation. We go to this club Ballistics at 17. They get signed to Ruthless Records with Eazy-E from NWA. Excuse me. And then they sit on the shelf. Eazy-E passes away in 95. They get off of Ruthless Records. will.i.am goes from Will.i.am to will.i.am. Says, yo, Tab, because I was part of that family. He's like, Tab, I'm starting this new thing, Black Eyed Peas. You want to rock with us? I was an 18-year-old kid, straight out of high school, working at Disneyland, picking up horse manure at the during the electrical parade. So I was like, you know what? Let's go. I believe in my passion. I believe in my dream. Let's do this. So we started Black Eyed Peas in 95.
95.
Yeah. We were just teenagers, just wanting to... Our mission was this. Listen to this mission. The mission was Apple's going to bring his mom from the Philippines to the United States. will.i.am's going to move his mom from the project into a nice neighborhood. And me, I had a kid at 17 years old, so I was there. I had to fend for my son, take care of Josh, who's now 25.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, those were like survival ideas.
Survival, man.
Like you guys weren't thinking like big dreamers, like we're gonna have hit records, all this. I mean, did you guys even like?
Never fathomed that.
Thought about
never,
that.
It was never an idea that we're going to be playing the Super Bowl, we're going to be getting Grammys and selling millions of records. We never had that in our head. We wanted to perform in the Philippines. That was our motivation.
Right.
Hey, App, yo, one of these days we're going to be performing in the Philippines because Philippines is the reason why we are Black Eyed Peas. If Apple never got adopted from the Philippines,
Right.
there would be no Black Eyed Peas. So our story is a philanthropy story. So our connection with the Filipino community is strong.
Right.
And we did all the Filipino backyard parties. We battled at Masonic temples, at Armory. And these were all jams, like b-boy jams and freestyle jams, where we would go and we would battle other crews just to get a reputation. But within that, we built the following of the Black Eyed Peas from 95 until 97 when we got signed with Interscope Records, Jimmy Iovine. Big shout out to Jimmy Iovine, who really believed in us and
Boy,
took a
how many
chance on
guys
us.
has he like? He's had an eye
He's
for
the
talent,
guru,
huh?
man. He's the guru. You know, from Dr. Dre to Lady Gaga to No Doubt, Eminem, 50 Cent, you name it. Black Eyed
Right.
Peas.
So he
Jimmy
signed
Iovine.
you guys in '97.
Yeah.
Had you guys made a couple of records, a couple of albums, or what?
We had 2 albums. The first one was Behind the Front, critically acclaimed, 300,000 records sold. This was in 1998, which is an amazing thing because here we are, an underground group that's very jazzy hip hop. Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul was our influence.
Was that your sound?
That was our
Kinda
sound, kind
yeah.
of like that jazz hip hop infused with the
Yeah.
bossa nova feel.
Right.
And we were critically acclaimed, but we didn't move the needle as far as record sales.
Right. You were like an independent movie.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like, hey,
underground.
great independent movie, but we're not
But-
blockbuster.
Right. You're not making any,
We're not
selling
moving
out.
units.
Yeah, right.
So it was cool. Jimmy Iovine's like, you know what? You come sign to Interscope. No matter how many records you sell, you're my guys. I believe in you guys. You guys are special. You have something for the world because you're a diverse group. We're the only group in hip hop to be multicultural: Filipino, Native American, Mexican, and African American.
Who came up with the name Black Eyed Peas?
We were just throwing it up, like
Yeah?
names, like, oh, what about spaghetti and meatballs? Nah, it doesn't make sense. What about Blue Unit? What's Blue Unit? I don't know. What about tacos, beans and rice? Nah, that's kind of whack. What about Black Eyed Peas? Black Eyed Peas. What does that mean? Black Eyed Peas, soul food. Oh, wait a minute. We feed the soul with our music. Soul food, we feed the soul. Black Eyed Peas.
It fits.
Yeah.
It's funny how things fit, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you think of something and you go, it's just like this little show, Breaking Bread. I didn't know. I was just thinking out loud, outside the box, like, what is it? And then all of a sudden you go, yeah, breaking bread. Let's eat, let's talk, let's break bread. And it like just fits. It's weird how like that's so 97. So you get signed.
We get signed to Interscope, put out our first album, Behind the Front. Second album, 2000, we had a collaboration with Macy Gray, who was hot at the moment, at that time.
Right.
And, that was like, kind of like our cross into this show called TRL back in those days.
What was that?
Total Request Live on MTV. So we had our first video on that show. And then Napster came along and really fucked us.
Oh, that's
Screwed
that.
us.
That's that Napster
Sean
guy.
Parker.
Sean Parker.
really screwed us.
What did this guy do? This Sean Parker.
Well, he created Napster.
I don't even like his name.
Napster basically like allowed you to like rip anything off the internet and get music for free, and basically you wouldn't have to pay for it, and you don't have to buy albums.
So that's what happened.
So our records, at that time we had record sales.
They were blowing up.
But they were like, they didn't exist because
of
of
that.
Sean Parker. Because
Sean
Napster
Parker.
came in and just changed the game as far as ripping music and putting it online. So people didn't have to go to a store like Tower Records or Virgin Megastore or Sam Goodies to buy a physical copy of the Black Eyed Peas album.
So you basically put people out of business.
Put people out of business.
This Sean Parker.
Which
Yeah.
in turn, streaming and music online took record stores out of business.
You remember like when I was a kid and an album was
Yeah,
coming out,
exactly.
right? Right. I liked Billy Joel, whatever. You'd get excited. The album was coming out. It was an event to play that record, to go buy the record. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
a little before you
Yeah.
even, but you remember that, right?
I do remember that. I remember doing in stores and having our
exciting, right?
VHS tape where we would hand out our tapes, we would hand out flyers, and our tape. Before CD, we had a tape. Black Eyed Peas Behind the Front.
Oh, you had like cassette?
A cassette
Yeah.
tape.
But did you have an album?
We had an album vinyl. Yeah,
Vinyl?
12-inch,
Yeah.
vinyl. So, we were from the school of, we saw the Sam Goodies and the Virgin Megastores and Tower Records. And then we saw that,
Right.
go out of business, just like Blockbuster Video. And then it ushered in the Spotifys and the YouTubes and the streaming services. So fast forward to 2001, we started working on our new album, which is called Elefunk. And Elefunk is the one that changed our lives.
That changed the game.
It changed the game because there was a song, one particular song, probably my favorite song that I've ever written in all my career. It's called Where's the Love?
You wrote it?
Me, Will, and Apple wrote
The
it.
three of you guys?
Yeah, we wrote it.
Right. Where is the love?
Where's the love?
You showed me that song.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the song that changed everything.
That's a
Yeah.
great song.
Thank you.
Great
and,
song.
And we wrote it with this young fellow at the time who was coming from a boy band called NSYNC. His name is Justin Timberlake. You guys might know of him. He actually transitioned from the boy band to do this solo project that he was working on called Justified. And we built a friendship and a rapport at this club called Joseph's in LA, in Hollywood. I said, yo, I got this idea for this song. I need a hook. It's like Mercy, Mercy Me kind of meets What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. I need something like that.
Right. Explain the hook thing. Just explain what that is.
So the hook is the
hook.
chorus. There's the verses, and then the chorus is people killing, people dying. You know that part? Mm-hmm. That's the chorus. That's the meat and potatoes. Everybody wants to sing the hook.
He doesn't know the terms of any of this stuff.
Oh, it's okay.
No, I've heard it. I just want to explain.
People killing, people dying, children hurt, and you hear them crying, and you practice what you preach, or what you turn the other cheek. Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above, because people got me questioning, where is the love? Sorry, guys, I'm not Justin Timberlake. I rap.
That's all right. Hey, that's all right. That's good in my book.
So that's
Shit.
the hook. The hook. And then the verse is, it just ain't the same. All ways have changed. New days are strangers. The world insane. If love and peace is so strong, why are the pieces of love that don't belong? Nations dropping bombs. Chemical gases filling lungs of little ones with ongoing suffering. As do you die young, so ask yourself, is the loving really gone? So I could ask myself, really, what is going wrong in this world that we living in? People keep on giving in, making wrong decisions, only visions of them dividends, not respecting each other. Deny thy brother. A war's going on, but the reason's undercover. The truth is kept secret, it's swept under the rug. If you never know truth, you never know love. Where's the love, y'all? I don't know. Where's the truth, y'all? I don't know. Where's the love, y'all? There it is.
Beautiful. Bravo.
That's the verse.
Look at that. Look at that,
Yeah.
huh? Where do you get that on a podcast? Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Salute.
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 Did you catch it, hon? Yeah. Very good.
So
man.
you do Ella Funk, and this is the project that gets
Well-
Fergie on it, right? Is that-
Yeah,
that her
so
first
so
project?
how'd you find Fergie?
Fergie was a friend of the crew. She was working on her solo package, as she called it at the time. She was from a group called Wild Orchid.
Oh, so she was trying to like shop to the labels, right?
Yeah, so she was part of Wild Orchid, which is like a singing, like 3 females that were singing on, like it was totally different than anything we had ever seen. Because, we weren't used to the female singing on a stool vibe. When she came into Black Eyed Peas, it was different for her because she had never performed with 3 MCs who dance, who rap, who perform.
All hype.
All hype. So it was different for her. She's like, oh, okay, let me see where I fit in. And so Jimmy was like, need to put the girl in the group. And we had built up a fan base for many years. That was a little bit more underground. A little bit more like,
Right.
purist.
But
putting-
Jimmy's thinking,
Jimmy's thinking big.
you guys
He's
can,
thinking like,
you guys can blow
take
up
it to a new
next level.
demographic.
Add this girl, add a female.
Add a female. We had a female vocalist, Kim Hill. We had Macy Gray. We had Estero. We had Terry Dexter. But Fergie had been Stacy at the time. Stacy Ferguson was transitioning into being part of our crew. So it was a natural transition for her to be on a song called "Shut Up." That was the first song that she was on, and she killed that hook, the chorus, and we put her on other songs, and it just became she just became family.
The chemistry, it was like
Chemistry was dope. She in the studio. She was a studio rat just like us. She was always there. She was always dancing in the mirror, like looking at herself and like doing all these funny poses. And I'll be like, "Yo, what are you doing, girl?" She's like, "Oh, I'm practicing, Tab." I'm like, "Okay, cool. At least she's practicing.
right,
Cool.
right.
Practice 10,000 more hours, okay? And one day you'll be able to step on stage with the Black Eyed Peas."
But I mean, could she dance?
She was cool. But as a
Yeah.
dancer myself, I'm
Right.
dissecting every single aspect of the dance,
Right.
because that's just, it's like.
But
it's
she
like-
wasn't there for her dancing.
No,
she was
no,
there
she
for her
the singing.
sound,
But she
and
also
for her
had
look.
she had to also like be able to rock with
With
3
you guys,
MCs. She had to
right.
fit in,
Right.
like where do I fit in? So as time went on, we had our first show in Australia, and she was nervous. She was like, I've never performed with a live band before. I've never performed in this setting.
How old was she?
We were all in our late 20s.
Okay.
Like 27, 28, something like that. And
So you didn't know how it was going to be on the stage, right?
we had no idea.
Did you guys rehearse? Put together a show with her?
We
and-
did,
Right.
and as we do with each other, we always clown each other. There's no barriers about clowning whoever's on stage, and we clowned her a lot, Just like I clown Will clowns me, I clown Apple. That's just family.
Right.
That's what we do.
That's got the
we,
thing.
we bring
Yeah.
the spirits up, but also I'll chop your legs if you do some funny shit.
Right.
You know, it's just family. That's how we do it. It's tough love. And we give her a lot of tough love. Mm-hmm. Yo, you shouldn't rock like that, Ferg. Oh, why? It just looks corny. Don't do that. You know, but she built up the spirit.
Right.
When we go to battle, metaphorically, you better be ready to.
You better be ready to
better-
come.
Yeah, you
Right.
better
Come with
bring your
your-
swords, bring
Yeah.
your tomahawk.
Right. Come
bring
with your
anything.
equipment. Even if you fall flat,
Yeah,
at least
let's
bring
go.
it.
Make something of it.
Right.
Make that fall into something beautiful. And that's what she learned. She became a beast on stage, and I feel like, you know, she's an unbelievable artist. I got nothing but respect.
Did you
for her.
guys know, like, okay, oh, you know what? This is like, we're on to something now. Like adding that missing piece.
Yeah, because she
I
brought
mean,
something. She brought something beautiful.
a
to-
different dynamic.
dynamic.
You guys
know.
are special in your own right.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you put something to the team and you go, oh shit.
Yeah.
Now the team is just like, we went to another level. You know?
I'll give you a metaphor. It's like adding KD to the Warriors.
Right.
Warriors could win championships.
They can win it, and then with him, they're almost like they're not even beatable.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like that's how we felt. BEP was like unbeatable, and we showed from 2003 until we took that hiatus that, you know, we're ruling the charts, you know, and I'm blessed, and I salute Fergie, I salute will.i.am, I salute Apple,
All of them.
and all
Sure.
our family members, you know, the crew, the management, Interscope Records, all these people that made Black Eyed Peas possible.
Yeah, that's special.
So you guys were together for like 10 years before she came in, right? Is that like
We've
the
been
right
we were
math?
together since 1995. We were best friends or friends, brothers since 1992, 93.
And through that, when you guys were growing up too, you knew Mazik and Ben too.
Yeah.
Your Blood of Abraham, right?
Yeah, so Mazik and Ben were part of Ruthless Records with
Right.
Eazy-E.
We've gotten to know Mazik,
Yeah, Mazik's
who's
amazing.
what's his last name?
David Savitz.
David
Savitz. I
But he
love
goes-
him.
but he goes
I just
by
love this
Mazik.
guy.
Yeah,
He's
he's great.
just a great spirit,
Great
like
dude.
you are.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
It's like
Yeah,
he's just
awesome.
He's a cool guy, and so
Beautiful.
he was a rapper with the
him and
Blood of
Ben
Abraham.
were. Blood of
So they
Abraham.
were signed to Ruthless with my brother Mook, Apple, and Will. Big shout out to Mook. He doesn't get the credit that he deserves. He was the third member of Will and Apple's group prior to me coming into Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Mook he's still part of our family. He writes with us. You know, he's an amazing writer. He's one of our stable writers in our camp. His name is Joshua Alvarez, and he was part of Abban Clan, which was a tribe beyond a nation, who were signed to Ruthless. It was Will, Apple, and Mook, and then Blood of Abraham was Benyad. JJ was part of that too.
Yeah, JJ was.
JJ and Mazik.
Oh, Ben is the other guy.
Yeah, JJ, you met him at the Wild.
I thought he was like a businessman. or
So
something.
Ben became a dope director. He directed I Gotta Fill In. He directed a lot of the Black Eyed Pea hits.
Okay.
Videos.
Oh, the videos.
The videos,
Right.
yeah.
That's what Mazik told me.
Yeah. So Benyad is a big time director. He does a lot of the Coldplay stuff. I mean, you know, he went from music into directing.
And a really good director, huh? For music videos and stuff like that. He found his niche there,
Found his
right?
niche. Yeah, he's a storyteller. You know. And
How
he's-
many music videos have you guys made? Tons. Yeah.
I can't even count them, man.
Yeah.
I have him up. Let's see.
I like that latest one they made where he's Taboo's dancing in the street. What's that one?
Oh, Constant.
Yeah, Constant.
Yeah,
I just
that's
like it
dope.
visually,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
It,
it's dope.
it's got that urban feel.
Yeah.
And like you're really good on the screen.
Thank
you
you,
do.
man.
I don't know if
Appreciate
you're
that.
interested in acting or what.
I am
but
interested, but I'm also interested in being behind the scenes. That's kind of, I would like to touch on that, in the upcoming segment. First, let's continue this journey of Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, let's continue.
43 to 45 videos,
That many?
according to this.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
We got more than that.
Yeah,
bro.
you might have more than
We
that.
got way more than 40 videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
definitely
can't.
more.
See, you
We
can't trust the internet.
Even before,
Can't trust the
before
internet.
we got signed, we had like a ton of videos.
Oh, so that's probably what it's not accounting, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. Which do you have a favorite? I mean, you made so
I
many.
love Where's the Love.
Where's love?
Changed
Yeah.
my life.
Yeah.
Took me from sleeping on mom's couch to being able to buy my own house.
Yeah, it's always like that. It's
You
the
know?
ones that made, that stay with you.
Well, more than that, it's like I was able to take care of my son financially.
Right.
And that's what's important is like, how do I sustain being
Yeah.
a father, being present, but also like taking care of my
Yeah,
kid?
but you made a living doing that.
Yeah.
Man. It's just like when you could pay the bills and you say, wow, I consider myself. I felt that way with acting. I was like, when I feel like I could actually pay my bills, I felt like, okay, I'm a success now. I made it, and I'm working at it. And I didn't even call myself that until I really felt like it. I was working at it at the beginning. You know, people are always hating on you, like,
Of course,
oh, you know,
of
he
course.
thinks he's gonna go to Hollywood, and I'm like, I don't think anything, man. I just fucking believe in myself.
That's dope.
You know,
That's awesome,
and
man. I
that's
love
it.
that.
And that's what I always tell him. I'm like, just don't worry about the hate, because like he's doing his thing and he's working at it. And I'm like, you know, just keep working at it, because maybe one day you'll be something. So getting back to the Black Eyed Peas,
So,
2003 to 2011, right?
You do Ella Funk, that hits. Then you have Monkey Business.
How many hits? How many big hits? A lot, right?
There's a lot. And then so from Monkey Business to the end, the beginning, that was the big one,
Grammys, right? How many Grammys?
6.
6 Grammys? I remember watching you guys on the Grammys. I'm like, who are these guys? I'm sitting here. You know, life is weird. Like, I would have never thought watching the Grammys years ago, like, you know, I'd be sitting with this guy in one of the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah,
and I'm
shit,
like,
I
it's
weird,
like,
man.
This
It's-
life is really funny.
I never thought I was going to be in a Black Eyed Peas video.
I know.
It's awesome, bro.
Well, we didn't know
It's an
that
honor.
either.
It's
Yeah.
an honor to have you, too.
It
Because,
was
you know,
wild.
it's like...
I'll tell you, when I saw that, I was so moved, you know, at the Soho House. And
Yeah, I was moved, too,
I was
balling.
I was balling, too.
I saw the family balling. I saw you guys...
It was
you
a
know,
bit
your
much.
performance, and yeah, the concept was heavy, but your performance, what you gave us on screen,
Was great.
Was amazing. Without even any dialogue, just your acting skills
Yeah.
and your capabilities, your choices that you made.
I agree.
It was awesome, dude.
I agree. I was really like blown away by it. I know, you know, people saw it, but I wish like it would have even got more, because like the things that are really, really special sometimes don't always get its due.
Yeah.
But that's just how life is, you know?
That's what, you know.
You know, you could do great things and 5 people saw it, and then somebody goes, hey, man, I love that thing you did. And I'm like, huh? And I'm really, I like that, because like, I know the whole world saw The Longest Yard, but if someone saw Federal Hill or saw something that was, you know, not many people saw, but like that's special to me, because it's like, that's just as valuable as, you know, just because something was acclaimed doesn't mean it's better. It's just that that's what people know.
But it wasn't even about the views. It was like what that event spiraled for like the
Yeah,
rest of the year.
look what it did for
'Cause, like-
you,
Like
and-
especially like it's a year. Technically, last month was just like a year from now, and like that spiraled like thousands of things that happened. So,
Yeah,
like,
and for his
And
life.
crazy.
you text me about that, right? You told me like, yo, it's 1 year ago, something.
yeah, it was
we
like a
got-
year ago we did it. It was like this is crazy.
Yeah.
know.
I'm still in awe, because I see from that point when I first met you, like to where you're at now with your music and posting your stuff on SoundCloud and like you doing shows. Like, it's great that you took that spark and started pursuing your own career. If we could use our platform to give an opportunity to artists like yourselves, that's what we want to do. We're elder statesmen in the game, and I always say that. We're like, you know, we've been in the game for over 20 years, and it's a beautiful blessing what we've accomplished. But now it's like, how do we give back? How do we provide opportunities for others? That's what Apple's doing with his artist named Jessica, J. Ray Soul.
Right.
He
Great
brought her-
voice.
Brought her from the Philippines
Right.
again, and he brought her to the U.S. to give her the same opportunity that Joe Biden Hudgens had given Apple.
Wow.
So those are the type of things that we want to affect change. We don't want to just move the needle through music, but how do you give back? How do you provide an opportunity and a space for artists to develop, but also to get out to the masses?
Right.
Whatever capacity, whatever success that is, as long as we continue to give back.
And you guys are doing that. I mean, you guys are doing it. Now, you know, 20 years you're in the game. What's on the agenda? What's next for you guys? Like what kind of keeps the fire burning? I'm like, you guys are gonna go on tour now,
Yeah,
right?
2 days I'll be on tour, man.
2019.
It's
Now, where you going
It's so
on tour?
different, Nick, because I live for my kids. My wife and my kids are my priority. That's what I live for. If I could change things, which I can't, I would never leave my kids.
Right.
You know, it's hard. It's hard, especially because I have a daughter, and my daughter was born after I beat cancer. June 24th will be my 5-year anniversary of being a cancer survivor.
What kind of cancer
I had
did you have?
testicular cancer stage 2.
Stage 2.
So when I got diagnosed June 14, 2004, I basically, sorry, I'm getting choked up.
No,
thinking
it's
about that
okay.
time
It's
period.
okay.
It's like, it's.
I didn't go through this, so I mean, you know, my parents both passed from it, so unless you live something like you did, so I mean, it's
So it changed my life because I was fighting for my life.
right.
although it was testicular cancer, it started spreading from my right testicle to my 2 lymph nodes in my spine, and I had to go to do chemotherapy. I'm getting choked up. So if I start shedding a tear, it's from a place of like reliving that trauma.
It's all right.
And it's some real shit. Yesterday was National Cancer Survivors Day, so it's even more emotional for me because I'm speaking on that subject. Went through chemo for 12 weeks, 5 days a week, 6 hours a day, and it was like war, torture, and nightmare all in one. That's what I felt inside my body. So I had to destroy everything that was good inside my body so that I could kill what was bad, and that was the tumor. 4 centimeters wide, 4 centimeters long, and I pretty much almost gave up. I didn't want to do chemo anymore. I did holistic healing on the side, acupuncture, Reiki healing, but the chemo was the thing that took me out.
Right.
Lost my hair, lost my eyebrows, lost weight, was a yellow version of myself. And I remember coming home one day and I said, I don't want to do this chemo anymore. And my wife's like, go upstairs and meditate. So I put on these weird headphones, and I remember listening to Deepak Chopra giving advice about meditation, and his voice was so annoying at the time. Took my headphones out, turn on the TV, ESPN comes on. And it was Stuart Scott talking about his fight with cancer. And I was like, yo, Stuart Scott's speaking to me right now.
Right.
Then I saw ESPN 30 for 30, and it was Jim Kelly talking about his battle with cancer.
All of a sudden it becomes relatable to you, right? That other
Gridiron
people-
warriors talking about their battle with cancer. Warriors that go on the battlefield every Sunday to play this game.
Yeah.
Here I am wanting some form of like reinforcement that I'm going to get through this, and these warriors are speaking to me louder than any music, than any video has ever spoken to me.
Right.
So that's when I really fell in love with the sports, because psychologically, it took me away from the trauma that I was suffering.
Right. It took the attention off yourself, and you said, "Oh
Bro.
wow, if this guy who looks bigger than life."
I was in a
Has-
dark place,
Right.
Because I was taking morphine because of the pain, and I'm a 12 years sober. I'm an addict, and I've been blessed to be 12 years sober. I got sober in 2007.
What do you mean, alcohol?
Everything,
Oh.
drugs, alcohol. I was a trash can. I actually
Okay.
wrote a book about it. It's called Falling Up
Oh, I didn't
on
know that.
Amazon.com. Plug, shameless plug. So after that point, when I watched ESPN, it all started making sense to me. Sports was my vehicle to be able to take my mind off of the trauma that I was experiencing.
Right.
So that being said, I gotta go into my sports mode now.
He's got a lot of
I got my
of
sports
Pittsburgh
mode. Yo.
colors, Steeler colors on right
So
now.
check this out.
He's got the yellow, the black.
Check this out. So, that being said, when I
Wait a minute, you got orange over here.
is it?
It's yellow.
Oh, it's the color.
Who are you?
What are you laughing
Who are
about?
you? Apple? Colorblind?
I thought it was apple.
He has a
No, it's the
He
lighting.
has a fake eye.
Oh, you do?
No, I don't have a fake eye. I have
Let
an
me see.
implant. It's an implant. I call it a fake eye. It's a real eye, but it's not my eye. So it feels different than this eye.
That's fucking awesome, dude. You should talk about that.
Yeah, well, if I do stand up, I might.
You should.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's a great bit.
could be.
The
Yeah.
fucking fake eye?
Taboo, tell him to do stand up. He's got to do stand up.
No,
He
you gotta
wants
do
me to
stand up.
stand-
So
But
that being
with the
said,
color, it looks orange, but it's yellow.
that being said about sports, I loved sports as a kid. You know, I loved Lakers, Showtime era, Forum era. I love the Dodgers, Fernando Valenzuela era.
81.
But I love the Steelers, man. The
Now, how
grit-
come the Steelers?
Well, my boy
Growing up.
Mook, who writes with us, he's a big Steelers fan. JJ's a big Steelers fan, and we started ping-ponging about the Steel Curtain, Franco Harris,
Mean Joe
the
Green.
Mean Joe Green, the
Lynn
Terry
Swan,
Bradshaw,
Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, Rocky Blyer.
Yeah, so we started ping-ponging on that,
Yeah.
and I fell in love with the whole Steeler Nation. So from that, you know, you go into the era of like the black and Asian kid. Ward. Hines Ward.
Okay.
Hines Ward was
Oh,
a
right.
beast.
Hines Ward, yeah.
He was
Yeah.
a beast.
I was thinking Fred Biletnikoff.
Fred Biletnikoff was dope.
But that was my man.
Yeah, he was
He used to
awesome.
wear sticky,
He was awesome, dude.
fantastic hands, like glue on his hand. 'Cause he literally had glue on his hand.
Yeah, he was
But he was
awesome.
great. I mean, the Raiders, that's when the Raiders were the Raiders, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they
I
went
can't
up against
front, man.
They went up against the
They
Steelers.
did. They did. That was the John Madden era.
Kenny Stabler.
Kenny Stabler, the snake.
The snake.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
that's when football was football.
Oh, it was awesome, dude.
Sports used to be incredible. Now sports is like so watered down.
I mean,
yell
you
and I
think
mean,
about the NBA. I love the NBA,
I like
but
it,
it was
but
more physical back in the bad boy days.
on.
The battles between Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and Lakers.
As
Showtime.
great as the Warriors are, don't you think if those guys played years
Oh, they
ago,
would get-
somebody
they
wouldn't
would get
grab Steph Curry
destroyed.
by his
They would get
shirt or something?
destroyed.
They would fuck
Annihilated.
them up.
Yeah, they would.
They
It's a
would.
different
They
game
couldn't
now.
just walk around and do that stuff that they do today.
Yeah.
But
It's a
today
different
it's a
game.
soft league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The bad boy Pistons, that was a badass team.
Yeah.
Unless you
Hated
saw
them.
those guys, but you hated them, but
Yeah.
they plastered guys on the
They did.
floor.
The Rick Mahorns, the Lambeers, yeah.
Lambeer.
Rodman before he was crazy.
I
with
loved
the hair.
it. I think it was more intense.
Yeah, it was.
Even the Knicks.
I mean,
when they
even
had-
Chuck Daly was the puppeteer of all that, bro.
It was.
You know what I mean? You had those tough coaches that were like, "Yo, take him out."
Right.
Isaiah, go take him out. Isaiah was the ringleader. Hey, Mahorn, we're gonna put the Jordan rules on this kid.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Jordan had a tough time in
Yeah.
the first runs.
Yeah, but Jordan was a tough guy.
He was. He built up his.
He
strength,
built up
though.
his strength.
Yeah.
He was a thoroughbred.
He was.
I mean, they always try to like compare guys to Jordan, but there's only one Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, as
he
great as
changed the
Kobe
game,
was,
bro.
Kobe was a stud.
Yeah.
You know, and I get this guy now, he's quiet. You know, Kawhi, I like Kawhi.
I like
love him.
Kawhi.
I like Kawhi.
I like Kawhi.
Like him a
He's
lot.
offense and defense.
He's
I
tired
like that.
right
I
now.
like
You
that.
could tell he's beat up.
Yeah.
You see the game last
I
night?
did. I had to see the game.
He
I was with my
just
boys.
knew
I
at
was-
halftime. I knew like they cut the lead. And I said, "That's it.
Yeah.
That's it." Watch
tough.
third quarter. They own the third quarter.
I was surprised that Boogie Cousins was putting in the work that he was, you know, coming back from that injury and then seeing Klay Thompson go down. I was like, oh,
Is he out
shit.
now? Is he out?
I don't know.
They don't know hamstrings.
Hamstring. KD,
Yeah.
Thompson.
Yeah. Well,
tough.
if Clay don't come back, that's a big
It's
blow.
a tough one. And then
That's-
Iguodala's on a
Yeah.
limp, you know.
Yeah, he's always on the limp, but
Yeah.
somehow he makes a three when no
He
one's
does.
guarding him.
He does.
I mean, they just, you know, they're an incredible team. They annoy the shit out of me, but
Yeah.
they're an incredible team. I mean,
And now, you know what? I would say that
And they're
that-
well coached, too.
That Drake is doing his part, just like Jack did for the Lakers,
Nothing
just
wrong with
like
that.
Spike Lee did for the Knicks against
Right.
Reggie Miller.
I
you
think
know.
it's good,
It's great.
right?
Keep it moving. Yeah,
Do you know Drake?
we have met Drake. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a good dude.
You like him?
Yeah,
What do you think of music today? Who do you like today? Like, what do you?
I like her. Female
person.
artist
I
named
like
her.
her.
She's
I like her.
awesome.
Yeah,
I like
she's
Daniel
great.
Caesar. I like DJ Snake. I like J Balvin. I even like Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny's a
Latino
he's
is
into this
he's
Bad Bunny.
representing, bro.
Yeah.
You know, as a Latino myself, I'm Native American and Latino Mexican. I love seeing what Latin music is doing for the masses.
Right.
This kid sold out Staples Center by himself doing reggaeton.
24.
Say what?
He's 24.
Say what? That's beautiful.
Man.
Salute to Bad Bunny and J Balvin and Cardi B and all these Latin artists that are coming up.
Nice.
Whether you like their music or not, you gotta respect it.
It's true. Holy shit.
We dropping shit.
Now that's all right. Leave that. That's part of the show. Get back,
There it is.
Brucey.
There it is.
I was with Polo at Coachella.
Got my energy up, Lou.
And I saw J Balvin with him. He got me in the artist pit, whatever. He pulled some G stuff, and that was an insane experience.
Yeah.
It was just like beautiful. It was just like dancing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
had the
I know.
Coachella background. It was like unbelievable.
Well, the beautiful thing about that is that I gravitate to that more than anything because there's a international vibrant spirit that comes along with that. And Black Eyed Peas, we've always been about the international spirit. You know, our music transcends just the U.S. It's like everywhere you go, Black Eyed Peas can be played, whether it's a sporting event, whether it's a nightclub, whether it's a festival. You know, our music can facilitate that.
It's for the masses.
For the masses, and that's what reggaeton is kind of shifting in that lane. You know, you're able to dance to it, no matter if you speak the language or not. It's a good rhythm, it's a good beat.
Reggaeton is that's kind of Latin beat.
Yeah,
It's
Latin
like
beat, yeah.
it's like Mia with him and Drake.
Gatum, Katung, 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 katung.
Me,
Yeah.
me. That song, you know.
Yeah, right. I got it.
That being said,
I got rhythm.
it's a good vibrancy. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that bachata. Like, when I went to the Dominican Republic, I love that kind of beat.
Yeah.
I love that. There's just something about that beat. Now it's blowing up. Now it's crossing over. Play it. Play a little bit of that. So we can
You know
have-
what I was gonna say? I really appreciate that you have a friend in common, which is Michael Rappaport.
Yeah.
Michael Rappaport, I remember when he first did this movie called Zebrahead.
Zebrahead, his first movie.
His first movie.
Yeah.
And I met him on set because I knew Ron Johnson, who was the other actor. He played. He was the antagonizer in the movie, and White Zach was right.
Michael.
Michael
Yeah.
Rappaport, and then we used Michael Rappaport during our Masters of the Sun graphic novel. He's the voice of Jimmy Guapo, one of our characters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So big shout out to Michael Rappaport. Nothing but respect for him because I knew him when he first came up. You know, and
they called him White Mike.
White Mike.
Yeah,
To
because
see-
like he was always hanging out with all the black guys, and
And the fact that I remember he asked me a long time ago, like, yo, I'm doing this documentary for Tribe Called Quest, and we were busy. We weren't able to do that. But what he did for Tribe, and how he loves and appreciates the native tongue movement and De La Soul, like I really got so much love for Michael Rappaport.
Oh,
So
cool.
It was
I'll tell
good to
him that.
see you and
Thank
him.
Yeah, I know him a long time.
comrades.
Thank
Yeah.
you. He's supportive of of me. I've been supportive of him, and I think we just like get a kick out of each other.
Yeah.
This one, you know this one.
Play this one. You like this jam?
Yeah. Love it. Osuna,
Him and Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. See? Freeze it. Ah, that was my move. Freeze it.
And Bad Bunny comes right here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baby loving us. Zigro. I don't
I
even know what he's saying, but it's beautiful vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, it's
so
good.
the-
It's good stuff.
It's beautiful because you tap into what the youth are doing, the movement. It's great because you see a lot of young folks managing now. Scooter Braun being one of those first business icons in the the new generation of managers and people that are doing the business, not only as handling the artists, but also like coming up with great partnerships with different brands and partnering up with YouTube and all these amazing vehicles to be able to be more than just an artist, but an actual brand where it's a viable business. I'm trying to teach my kids about knowing the business because they're like, oh, we just want to perform. That's cool, but I also want to educate you about math is important. If you don't know math, then percentages will be like, whoa, what does this mean? What does 20% of management fee consist of? Or like if you're with the promoter doing a show and they're like, oh, we're gonna take 15% of your net. What's net? What's the difference between net and gross? People think, oh, because I got talent or because I could act or because I can rap or sing or dance, I'm gonna make it. But we're a 1% of the world. 1% of the people really become successful in music or in acting. And those are the numbers that are scary. Those are scary numbers because we have millions of people that think like, oh, I'm gonna make my SoundCloud, I'm gonna do my thing on YouTube, I'm gonna write the script or I'm gonna do a screenplay and I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of dreams that don't get fulfilled. There's no blueprint.
Like if you want to be a doctor, you go to college, you
Yeah.
get your undergraduate, then you go to med school, and whatever. Then on, there's somewhat of a platform to like do that. This is like,
Yeah.
it's like you gotta be you may have to have this, you gotta have that. If you don't have that, you gotta develop that. It's
Yeah.
like there's many more layers to it that like it comes, and it's a lot.
And the thing about it is that a lot of the athletes, they come from inner cities and from poverty-stricken areas, and they don't get the information to be able to evolve as businessmen.
And they don't know.
life after basketball or baseball or football or boxing or whatever. And the same thing with music. Because it's one thing to be a rapper and buy all this jewelry, but then you're broke the next month or
Right.
the next
How
following
do you
month.
maintain it?
How do you maintain that?
Yeah.
So it's just,
You got to sign your own checks too.
yeah.
Yeah, we just had Ben Baller on.
Yeah, Ben was
and
talking to us about that.
He said stories like he would tell rappers before make a chain for them, like, you sure you want to do this? Is your finances in order? Because I'm not going to buy the chain back from you if you can't afford it and stuff like that. So
when you finally make money and then you make like real money, it is kind of crazy, right?
is
When you see
crazy.
like a big check or something, you're like, oh shit.
Can I just
How do I manage
say
that?
this? When I first made my first mill, when we made it big with Where's the Love and Elephant, I was using and abusing, and most of my money went into drugs and alcoholism. And I wrote my book about that. I wrote my book about overcoming that obstacle and falling into the system that a lot of artists become drug addicts or alcoholics, and we become part of the system. But it's those people that are able to wake the fuck up and look at that situation and make yourself have a better situation by, I owe my sobriety to not only my wife, to the people that were in my corner, to be able to pick me up and say, look, you have so much potential, but you're killing yourself. So within that, I learned how to become a better businessman. I think it's okay to talk about this, because a lot of kids they just want to hear about the glitz and the glamour. What kind of car are you driving? What kind of shoes are you rocking? Oh, what girl are you dating? Or how many followers you have on Instagram?
Yeah.
But let's keep it 100. Like, you strip all that away. At the core, we're human beings that need to be educated and informed, and do it in a way where it's not boring, and you're not lecturing somebody, and you're not like force feeding it down people's throats, but you're saying, look, I made the same mistake, I fucked up, but I was very blessed to come out of that. Let me be the example, so that you don't have to go through that.
Right.
And I'm talking to all the young kids, because I know you have a variety of people that tune into your show, so there's going to be young folks that are like, oh, damn, he's kicking some jewels and some
knowledge,
gems. Those are some gems.
Right, they are.
Besides the fun shit, like, what about the other component as human beings, but also as people that want to sustain? And I want to continue providing for my family. That's the reality. That's where I'm at right now in my
Sure.
life.
Man, that's just, I'm telling you, it's beautiful. The
Yeah.
way you put everything out there, the way you, open yourself up. I mean, it's nice that people can do that, because not everybody can do that. Not everybody can reach back, and
Yeah.
and I mean, just where you're going and where you've been. And, you're in the moment. That's one thing, but you can also reflect and also say, I fucked up, but let me tell you something. I lived a life.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, I talk to a lot of young kids, and I might be saying something to them, and I'm like, I'm not getting anything out of this. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
telling you
Exactly.
something. If you don't want to listen, fine. I made 150 fucking mistakes, but I'm telling you my story.
Yeah.
So maybe you can learn from that. I wish. I just sometimes you always go, like, when you're in it, you don't always know. It's not always your fault because you didn't know. It all kind of happened, and if you don't get your handle on it, it can kind of get away from you.
That's one of the things that's important, because we are fathers, and we have to set an example for our kids. Yes, we are part of the entertainment industry, but we also like let's keep it 100, man. I report to my wife and my kids, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's at the end of the day, that's who I live for.
Exactly.
I live
Exactly.
day to day with my wife and my kids.
Your wife and your kids basically are everything, even though you might, say this, say that, but at the end of the day, without that love, you ain't got nothing.
Exactly, dude.
Because that's what it all comes down to, your family.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's beautiful, man. I love it. I mean, hey, so boxing. Tell me
Boxing.
you're a boxing fan?
Yeah, man.
Who's your favorite fighter of all time?
I'm gonna tell you this. I love Muhammad because of what he did, how he changed the game, and how he psychologically, the warfare that he.
Have you seen this thing that Antoine
HBO?
Fuqua? Yeah. Pretty dope, huh?
Oh, dude, beautiful.
Not only was-
LeBron was part of that, right?
Yeah, he was part of
he
it.
produced it.
Yeah.
Produced it. It's great to see. I mean, I love not only Ali for his boxing, but also for his activism. What he represented to that time period.
Yeah.
Socially and
I didn't realize it as a kid. I just thought he was a loudmouth and sort of arrogant. But now, like, looking at it, going, man, that guy had balls.
Of course.
That guy had integrity. That guy had, like,
Who tells
mean,
the
he
fucking
was-
U.S. Army I'm not enlisting in your army?
right.
Who does that?
But a lot of people felt that way.
But we're afraid to say it.
Yeah, a lot of people felt that way about World War II, a lot about Vietnam. This guy actually stood up for it and
Exactly.
put his whole career at risk. put his whole life at risk. You know what I mean? And I think he walked the walk.
He did, and there was, you know, other athletes like Jim Brown and
Right.
Lou Alcindor at the time before he became Kareem.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
You know, so those are like I'm an activist too. I was at Standing Rock. I'm very involved with Indian country as a native myself. So I try to do as much as I can to be a voice to my communities because we have so many different Indian reservations and tribes.
I could be part of your tribe.
Yeah.
I
you
could.
can.
I look like an
Yeah.
Apache.
You got the
Yeah.
cheekbone.
I think
Yeah.
I'm part Apache.
That's awesome.
And, you know, my brother says Middle Eastern. I say Apache. I don't give a shit what he says.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, so I try to be as much as involved in trying to be a difference and make a difference because that's what's important to me. I have a platform, a huge platform that reaches millions of people through music and through the frequency of love and optimism and hope. If I can do that to better my communities and give them a chance to dream beyond the res, you know, and to give the youth something to hold on to and say, look, if he did it, I can do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We
Right,
need faces that are a direct reflection of us and that look like us to be representations of that.
Exactly.
Tab, where's your tribe from?
My grandmother's from Jerome, Arizona. So Hopi is in Arizona. Shoshone is from Midwest. I was more connected to my Hopi roots because my grandmother she never represented LA. Even though she lived here, she was like, I am not an LA person. I am from Jerome, Arizona, and I represent my native people. And that was the strength that she had. That was the gift of her pride in her culture. And so that, you know, growing up as a mixed kid myself, I grew up in LA, predominantly Mexican community, and yet every time I would go to my grandmother's house, she was always like about her native roots as well, and never forgetting about Jerome, Arizona. So it was a balance. And as I grew up, started becoming more aware of like both sides and appreciating both cultures. I wanted to be a voice to both sides, like the Mexican culture, but also the native culture, and that's why I went to Standing Rock. Standing Rock changed my whole life because after I beat cancer, I had visions of my grandmother saying, Jimmy, keep your hands in the roots, keep your hands in Mother Earth, keep your hands in the soil. And that meant to stay grounded, stay rooted, never forget where I come from. So I took a journey to Standing Rock, and it was kind of like the embodiment of something that opened my eyes on how I could be in voice, how I could amplify this movement through music, through art, but also through hope to the water protectors that were at Standing Rock. And it was very dear to me because I made it a point to humbly be part of this movement because I knew that here I am, part of a pop group. They're like, what are does he have ulterior motives? Is he trying to come up on this? Like, what's the motives for him coming here? Mm-hmm. Fortunately, we had allies like Shailene Woodley and Mark Ruffalo and Leonardo DiCaprio that came to Standing Rock and were part of the movement to kind of facilitate, like, hey, there's people in Hollywood and people that have a platform that want to be of service and help. Me as a native, I felt like I just wanted to be there with my native people. It wasn't about Black Eyed Peas. It wasn't about music. It was about being of service.
Right.
So that's why I really am inspired by Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, who became Muhammad Ali. But he was such an activist, and he stood up for a lot of people and people that were oppressed, a lot of people that were dissed by racism and separatism, and he brought a lot of people together.
Yeah, and he humanized things.
He humanized
It's
things, yeah.
weird because I've heard that like when you make something human, it kind of makes all your prejudice like go away. Because a lot of times we all grow up with like knowing this, hating that, but then like when you hear something that's human, all of a sudden it changes your perspective on things, and you go, oh wow, they're people just like me.
Yeah.
They got problems just like me. Oh, you're exposed to different groups, different people, because you grew up just knowing this, and then all of a sudden you find out the world is big, but yet it's really not that big.
Yeah.
You know?
But and also like Floyd Patterson, man. Floyd Patterson was
He's an interesting dude too.
very interesting,
Yeah.
and that was like the Joe Louis era, and just the science. Like Mike Tyson would always dig in the crates and be a student of the film of the past.
Right.
so that he can really educate himself. And that's what I loved about Mike as well. I love Pepino Cuevas. I love Corrales. I loved
Duran.
Duran.
Yeah.
You know, he was dope.
Yeah.
Loved Sugar Ray. Tommy Hearns was dope.
That was a great
Marvelous.
era. Marvin.
Come on,
Marvelous
that's
Hagler.
like classic
Oh my
boxing.
God,
Julio
Wilfredo
Cesar
Benitez.
Chavez, for what he did for the Mexican people. You know, he was a warrior.
Yeah,
Julio
he was
Cesar
a warrior
Chavez.
in the ring.
You know, Felix Trinidad. They were all like, you know, boxing was awesome at that time.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, you have your Manny Pacquiao's and yo, big shout out to Andy Reese for winning first Mexican heavyweight. You know, salute to you,
Yeah,
bro, for
yeah.
putting it down. You know, I love Anthony Joshua. I loved him because I loved his story. But this kid, Andy Reese, you know, amateur boxer,
Yeah.
came up over 100 fights. I loved it. You know, he only had one loss.
That's the thing about boxing. It's man against
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
You know, it's not like a team sport. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
mentally, physically.
You never know. It don't matter how you look.
You don't know. You can't go by a
Yeah.
guy because he got a pot belly that he can't fight.
Yeah.
You know, it's just deceiving. That's why boxing is like, to me, it's the greatest.
Yeah,
And
you
as
remember,
much as
remember Tank Abbott was like that in his earlier days.
Tank
bro.
Abbott,
he was
yeah.
like big,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like he would come in and just wreck people with uppercuts, and that's when UFC was raw before
Right.
the gloves.
right.
You know, and I mean, I could talk about this all day, bro. Sports is my jam.
So you
right
got the
now.
Dodgers, Fernando Valenzuela.
Well, Steve Sachs,
Steve
to
Sachs,
Tommy
81
Lasorda,
Dodgers.
to
You got the Steelers.
Steelers, you know, Steel Curtain.
You got the Lakers,
You know
Showtime
what?
Lakers.
I love the new era of Juju Schuster and Connors, because Connors is a cancer survivor too, a running back, our new running back since
Okay.
Le'Veon is gone, and then since Antonio Brown, AB's gone, now we have Juju Schuster to be the wideout. And then Big Ben is always Big Ben, and Mike Tomlin's Mike Tomlin. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what we
Not
do
like
this
the
year.
Steel Curtain, but come on.
Not like the Steel Curtain, but
You
you
know
know,
what I mean?
Ben's been there before.
Yeah,
He
he's
won a
been there.
championship.
He's a
you know,
winner.
He's a winner. So
Bradshaw's my
Yeah.
guy, but I like Bradshaw.
I have to say, during the halftime performance that I performed at the Super Bowl, my
What
Steelers
year was
were
that?
playing. 2011, the Steelers were playing against Green Bay, and I was like in the stands after I performed the halftime show. I'm like, "Yo, we're gonna win this," and we ended up losing to Aaron Rodgers. So you know, it is what it is.
Well,
bro.
yeah, but you performed
Yeah, we
Super Bowl,
performed, yeah, no doubt.
Grammys, conquered cancer. Now you're going on tour. Where you going? Foreign countries? Where?
We're going all over Europe.
All
We're
over
going
Europe?
Russia, Ukraine,
Italy?
Eastern Europe. We're doing Italy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. So how long you on tour for?
2 months.
Wow.
55 days.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. It's exciting.
Man.
Exciting journey.
I hope you come to Vegas one day and do something in Vegas, you
You
guys.
know, where's the wood? Knock on
I'm
wood,
just
bro.
saying, you know.
Put it out there. Put it out there in the
residency.
universe.
I'm
you
gonna
know,
put it out there.
residencies. Yeah,
I'm gonna put it
there.
out there. And
Yeah.
this was great, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
But can
you
I
doing
touch
this.
on one more thing?
Go ahead.
So now my journey has
Can.
taken me to become a producer and a co-creator with my partner Ben. We have a company called Skyview Way, and we create cartoons and animation through an indigenous lens. Our storytelling is mythology through music. So a lot of our conduits is music. Our components are indigenous storytelling, from Native American to Aboriginal to indigenous people in Mesoamerica, like preserving Mayan culture, Aztec culture, and telling these stories that are so compelling that mainstream television hasn't really told those stories on a genuine level, where it's coming from a voice that is part of Indian country, that has the right channels and the right people that give it a genuine voice, authenticity, and really resonate with the masses.
Right.
Because I have my track record with Black Eyed Peas, I'm able to get the meetings with the Nickelodeons and the Cartoon Networks and the Netflix and this person, that person. But my main goal is to be able to provide opportunities for animators, screenwriters that are indigenous, and do that as a way for me to transfer from being or transition from being just a musician, producer, to a co-creator with my partner Ben.
Oh, that's great,
Yeah.
man. Well,
We
good
actually
luck-
got
good
something in
luck
a
with that.
pipeline, ladies and gentlemen. I'm proud to say that we're in development with Cartoon Network. We got something in the pipeline with them.
Animation?
Animation. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about a regular story? Maybe a show?
That'll come.
That's coming.
You know, we are dipping and diving in unscripted and also scripted features.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. You should be on the big screen one day or the
Thank
little
you.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done a couple movies. I actually did. I'm proud to say I did this movie called Jamesy Boy a couple years ago. It's on Netflix.
I heard of Jamesy Boy.
Yeah.
Who's in that?
James Woods.
James Woods.
Is the lead. Ving Rhames is the
Ving is in it?
co-lead. Yeah.
Okay.
He killed it.
I worked with Ving.
James Woods. Jimmy Woods. Yeah.
What did you do in it?
I was the antagonistic gangster in the jail.
Really?
It was awesome, dude.
Who directed that? James Woods?
No, that was Trevor White.
Trevor White.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He
How
also
was that? A
did-
good
he-
experience?
He produced the Wind River.
Wind River?
Yeah.
I don't know that, but
Yeah.
but I'd like to see it on the screen.
Yeah,
Because
it's
you
awesome.
got, you got that intensity.
Yeah.
You know? You
Yeah.
look like this kid I grew up with. His name was Mike Nieves.
Yeah.
There was a whole family, a whole bunch of them. Joe
Nieves?
Nieves, Pete Nieves. Pete was scary.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess with Pete.
Yeah. I'm not scary, man.
Nah, you're
I'm
not
a
scary.
nice guy.
You're
I'm
a
nice
sweet guy.
Yeah, I'm a sweetheart. Yeah.
Yeah, but you got that look. Little
Yeah.
Aaron Judge in there too. I see a little Aaron Judge, Nick.
Aaron Judge.
I'm looking at him and I
Yeah.
see Aaron Judge. I got a good eye.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. 'cause
Yo,
that's my
if
boy.
you have a movie, yo, think of me, bro.
I know, no,
I'm down to
easy.
act.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, so when it happens,
I was also in Street Fighter, ladies and gentlemen. For those folks that are Comic-Con heads, that are heads, I know we didn't do it justice because the first one, Jean-Claude Van Damme version, wasn't that good, and then we did a reboot called Chun-Li with Christian Crook, Michael Clark Duncan, rest in peace, Matthew McDonough, and myself.
he does it all.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. I mean it. I owe you one for doing this, and anyway, just for just giving everything you gave. You know, you came and you gave everything you got.
Thank you,
so
man.
it was like I just sat here and I was observing.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. And please follow me on Instagram at Taboo, TABOO. And please follow me on my Twitter, TabBEP, TABBEP. And for more further dates for Black Eyed Peas, check out blackeyedpeas.com or go to Instagram at BEP.
And Vegas residency. All right?
Vegas,
I want
Vegas,
a piece of that.
Vegas, Vegas,
all right.
Vegas,
I'm
Vegas.
behind it. All right. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna help.
Nick's
make it
gonna
happen.
make it happen.
I'm gonna make it happen.
Make it happen.
I'll try. And whatever juice I have.
Yeah.
Right, Lou.
Let's call your brother, man.
I'll call my
We need
brother.
more juice.
I ain't get that much, but I get love on the street.
Call Chris Rock. Call Michael Rappaport. Let's call
Yeah,
all
those
your
guys
people
got
on your
all my
Rolodex.
homies.
Yeah, exactly.
They got
bro.
more juice than me. That's all right.
Yeah.
We're building it. You did a great show. Great
Thank you,
job.
bro. Thank you, my brother.